Okay, so freaking athlete's asthma. Oof. Okay, what is up, everyone? How you doing? What are you doing? Who are you doing? And what is up with y'all? You crazy, crazy people that you are. What is up, everyone? How you doing? Oh yeah, who's ready for Valentine's Day? You see, I'm totally prepared for Valentine's Day. Completely prepared for Valentine's Day. Um, so what I've done is that for all 8 of them, you know who I'm talking about. I got them a collective box of chocolates. You know, one of those ones. It's like the mix. It's got like 4 different levels of like different types of like chocolate manufacturers chocolates, and it's like a cardboard cheapy little drawer. They can like pull each drawer out, and then the top flips open, and there's like chocolates of every type in there. So yeah, that's what I'm doing for Valentine's Day. I got it in the freezer right now and everything. So yeah, I bought my gift way ahead of time, and I'm going to present it to all the girls, and tell them all Happy Valentine's Day. There you go. There you go. I got them a collective gift. Let's see what kind of Hunger Games type of stuff they do for main dibs on the chocolate. It's gonna be hilarious, I think. Any schmoo. Let me look at my chat real fast. All right, so Ryan S. Hey Badger, what's up? What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Mr. L. Greetings. It's nearly midnight here. Oh well, my bad. I was cleaning my house, doing all my chores. You know, doing functions checks on all my weapons, checking all my ammo and my checking all of my gun cases, checking my security boxes, uh, making sure everything's on the up and up, checking out my security systems. You know, looking to make sure nobody's been trying to pick locks or nothing, and checking my garage door to see if there are pry bar marks or something like that. Uh, and then of course the usual. Doing laundry and preparing food for tomorrow. Uh, getting stuff ready for my son's school. More laundry. Cleaning rooms, sweeping, mopping, wiping walls and ceilings and fans, ceiling fans, cleaning out the vents in my house, all that kind of stuff. I've been busy all day. Ryan S. It's 23:56. Ryan S. I just got done cleaning all the guns in the house because I was so bored. I also finally reloaded my mags. Needless to say, I needed someone to go live. Understandable. I'm prepared. I'm single. Okay. Understandable. No wonder you're bored. Mr. L, almost my folks' anniversary, if I remember correctly. Plus, my birthday is next month. Well, I already gave you technically a birthday present that you said you haven't been using yet. So, what's up with that, Mr. L? What are you doing with that incredible beast of a PC that you won? Any shmoo. Any shmoo. All right, let me check the Discord stuff. Um, there we go. All right, let me check the Discord. All right. What on earth are y'all going on about? Uh, okay. All right. Sure. Okay. Yes. Y'all been going nuts in the Discord. I do enjoy it, but there's a lot of stuff in there that gives me headaches from time to time. But it's okay as long as they don't immediately nuke the Discord server. We should be okay as long as that keeps going on. What on earth is going on here? Okay, whatever. You know what? Let's just watch stuff. Y'all ready to watch stuff? Okay, so let's just watch stuff. Why not? Okay, so let me see. I'm basically doing a roulette in my head. That looks cool. That looks badass as hell. That's hilarious. What's this? Brain murder on my back. These guys messing around. For a second though, it looked like. Oh wait, it's gone. Oh, whatever. Who cares? Nobody cares. And the reason why this bee removal video went viral is because there's a gorgeous woman like in the video. Everybody's like trying to pretend like it's because oh, it's because what she's doing is amazing and blah blah blah. And then you look at the comments. You look at the comments and you look at the comments, you look at the reposts, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty much all dudes. So we all know why this got a lot of traction. But of course, she is a beautiful woman. So there's that. Instant viral. Hot babe in a video. All right, let me see. We haven't done Mr. Ballin podcast yet. Should we do a Mr. Ballin podcast? Freaking Japanese commercials. Y'all see this? Bob, the Japanese are so much fun. The Japanese are so much fun. Oh, we saw this video, I believe. I believe we saw that video, but the guys were all freaking, yeah, they were all bunched up in a line like someone could just blah. Let me see. This sound melts brains. That sounds interesting. Sabaton trying to do the pacifism thing. Unfortunately, that wouldn't work. I like Sabaton. I really do like Sabaton. Trouble is, like, you know, they're pacifists. I do not at all jibe with pacifists. But they're an awesome band and they do a lot of good history stuff, so I like them for that. Let me see. Ryan S. I turned 19 on the 21st. Okay. Happy early birthday. And I don't even want to really do anything for it. Went to see how much bowling was, and it was $456. Yeah, no. Hey, Ryan, you know the reason why usually when guys go bowling, it's a whole bunch of guys that go bowling all together on like the same 2 lanes or something? You know, that's part of the reason why, right? Because everybody shares the costs of everything. There's like a boys' pool of money so that you can get 2 lanes. Mr. L, I hate headaches. I like honey. Ryan S, it's just his videos. Oh, the Mr. Ballin podcast thing? Okay, that's unfortunate, but whatever. LOL Japan for Mr. L. Indeed. LOL Japan. Ryan S, watch Brandon Herrera, Maxim machine gun. Mr. L, oh, Andrew Tate facing 180 days video. Yeah, the more I hear about the Andrew Tate shit, the more I hear about it, the more I hear about it, the more stupid it's getting. The more stupid it becomes. Because you have like this lawyer dude who's just like making a video And then you have like another team of lawyers who say none of this is real, none of it's true. And then you have like the BSN or I think it's BSN. I think it was BSN. Um, who were saying that all the girls are being told by the Romanian authorities that they are victims, even though they are saying they're not victims. Which, okay, so I don't know how you convince someone that they're a victim. That's usually really really bad, and means they're trying to crush somebody under the might of the government. If they're telling people you're a victim, right? You know, my consent is in writing. Doesn't matter. We have decided you're a victim and you're going to help our case to crush this person. Like, what am I supposed to believe now? What am I supposed to believe? You know what? At this point, whether or not Andrew Tate's going to go to jail or not, or the Tate brothers are going to be in trouble forever, I no longer care. I no longer care. I really don't. I really don't. I don't care if they did it or didn't do it anymore. I'm going to stick with the good things they did. I'm taking a page out of the left's playbook. They're a bad person, but they did good things. So, yeah. I really don't care anymore. They have burned out my caring for it being real or not. Let me see. Brandon Herrera, Maxim machine gun. Where is that? Wait, are any of my members in the chat? Because if any of my members are in the chat, then they're gonna get prior. No, none of my members are in chat. All right, or are they? Let me check. Let me make sure, because my members thing goes up and down all the time. Check. Nope, no members. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I forgot. I wanted to look at something. I wanted to look at a comment and talk to y'all about it. Because I love comments like this. I love it when people write me a book. I love that. I like it when people write me a book. It makes the video seem so much more than it actually is. All right, oh damn, there's a lot more comments now. Okay, here it is. View it on YouTube. All right, so here we go. Bigger font. I don't know if y'all probably can't even read that. Y'all probably can't even read that. Let me see if I can. That should work. Make it real big. Okay, now the comment's real big. Okay, so I should probably move myself too, so I'm not in the way, so y'all can read it. But yeah, we're gonna watch some videos after I get into this comment, because I like this comment. I love when people give me books to read. I like it. Okay, so y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? All right, so this is from my my video on Sabaton's Night Witches, and in the video, I talk about like the differences between women back then and women now, women in the West, women in the East, all that kind of stuff, right? Somebody really took it in a big way. So here's the big text. Here's the big text. All right, so this is Nightshade, 20 hours ago. I think you underestimate women. It has been comparatively a very short time that women have been allowed to serve in many militaries, and even fewer that are front-line troops. The IDF pretty much lead the way on that front. There have been a lot of women who have wanted to fight for their country, but due to patriarchal bullshit, patriarchy. We got patriarchy, folks. I love it when people do this, especially to themselves. But due to patriarchal bullshit, we're denied or forced to serve in a carer profession. Also, if the U.S. were somehow invaded, I think you'd probably find that a lot of women would want to take the fight to the enemy to protect their loved ones. False. Verifiably false. Women are extremely fierce when it comes to those they care about, and honestly, better to die fighting than to live under the dictates of foreign power. I agree with that part. I do. Okay, so she says, I think you underestimate women. Not really, no. No, I do not underestimate women at all. Not at all. The harsh fact of the matter is that if you take 1,000 men and you take 1,000 women, pit them against each other, who's going to win? Who's going to win? People are so mad about this for some reason. It's just reality. That's all it is. Anyway, it's been a comparatively short time that women have been allowed to serve in many militaries. Okay, tell that to the leftist historians who say that women have been fighting forever. Yeah. You have exceptions to the rule, sure. Queen Boudica was one of them. Queen Boudica took on the Roman Empire and came close to somewhat kind of winning. There was also accounts of the Amazons that fought the, I want to say it was either the Roman or the Greeks, or was it the Macedonians? It was one of the three that fought an army of women that were like dressed up as men. This stuff has happened in history. But these are exceptions. These are not the general rule. It's not the general rule at all. Not even close. Anyone who tries to say that, they're just bullshitting themselves. And even fewer that are frontline troops. So she's discounting history. She's discounting history. For thousands of years, women have been included in some conflicts or some parts of conflicts, but they are not the consistent presence in humanity's war with itself. So there's that. The IDF pretty much lead the way on that front. The IDF do have active duty. Then again, it's a cultural thing, like I said in the video, which is this one, the Night Witches video. I said in the video, it's a cultural thing. When you're literally like your whole country is a front line, which that's what Israel is. Israel is surrounded by nothing but enemies. Nothing but enemies. And they're getting attacked by those enemies all the time. So that forces a huge percentage of the population to get nitty gritty, right? To get down and dirty, to be tough and rough, right? Because they get mortared all the time. They get rocketed all the time. They get suicide bombers, right? They get attacked all the time. So it's no wonder that in the IDF, they got some badass women in the IDF, but it's a cultural difference. A major cultural difference. Here in the U.S., maybe 5% of Western, of like American women have that capacity. 5% at most. All right. The rest of them are voting for stupid stuff based on feelings, and, they would just, sell themselves and their families out to whatever powers that be are in charge. That's the truth. It's shown in the votes. 55% of the voter bloc is females. So they make the majority, they force the majority legislation through voting. And on top of that, most of the social stuff you see happening, who runs it? Mostly women. Most of the activism is women. Most of the social media is women. That's a fact. We live in a gynocentric society in the United States, in the West. That's very true. So yeah, anyway. There have been a lot of women who wanted to fight for their country, but due to patriarchal bullshit, were denied or forced to serve in a carer profession. Um, yeah, because if you go off of biology, women are more important than men because women can have children and they can propagate humans. Women are the only, all right, the only humans who can bring a life into existence. Men can't do that. So, yeah, no wonder why we try to safeguard those who would, help us to have more humans. Whatever. And due to patriarchal bullshit, okay, if women really, really, really wanted to run things the way that they are talking about here, because here they're completely ignoring the fact that women rule our societies. They do. They seriously do. 55% of the voting bloc, women. It's females, right? They push legislation. Their votes, all right, outmatch by several percentages men's votes. So yes, women do rule society. Also, gynocentric, right? Women are bailed out of everything. Men aren't. We're not bailed out of shit. We got to work for our stuff. But if you're a female and you go to court for anything, more than likely you're going to come out on top because the courts are in your favor. Just because you're a woman. Not because you're right or wrong. The statistics show that, and the statistics keep increasing. So yeah. Also, women have the most freedom in the U.S. of any place on the planet. Of any place on the planet, pretty much. But what have they been doing the past, 40 years? Promiscuity is on the rise. Single motherhood's on the rise. And it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And now look at our society, culture, and everything. We are so screwed up, like we don't even know up from down. That's women. That's women. Women created players. Women created players. They created players. They created the fuckboys, right? And I have a roster. And they're all okay with it. And they all know each other. I have a roster. But is that conducive? Not really. I mean, it's good for me. I'm enjoying myself. But still. All right, let me see. Let me read the chat real quick. Mr. L, yay, big text. Yes, big text. Ryan S, I'll go watch a movie and send you a whole ass AR of the movie if you want a book to read. Actually, you should make that into a video, and then so we can watch it. That'd be cool. Maybe you can teach me how to use Adobe Premiere that doesn't fry my brain. Mr. L, we should read more comments. Okay. Mr. L, I mean, the Soviets had female troops. Everybody had female troops. Everybody did. The U.S. Army had the WACs. Like, the French Army had their other corps whatevers. Like everybody had female troops. Not just the Soviets. Everybody did. Hayes Flame. Oh God, it's that one guy from the internet. Indeed it is. With my toxic self. Practicing my toxic masculinity and applying it to a comment on the internet from some stranger that I don't know. That's me. You know you love it. Mr. L saying hi. Mr. L, I mean, that depends on who you pick in the group of 1,000 people for either side. Well, not precisely, because once you go past a certain amount, the outcome becomes inevitable. Because your averages get, the difference in your averages get wider and wider as you go up in numbers. Storm, how's everyone doing tonight? I'm just doing a live stream, sitting here doing my toxic masculinity, showing it to the whole world. Just trying to moderate my damn alcohol intake for a bit is all. I am not drinking for at least 6 months because I'm doing the Spartan Challenge. So no drinking, no carbohydrates, more of that stuff. Mr. O rolls eyes and kicks Badger in the face. Good luck. Good luck. There's very few people I've let hit me in the face. Very few. Then eats his eyes. Ah ha ha. Read the chat, lol. Eats my eyes. Actually, that probably wouldn't be. That would probably be. Actually, I think it would be pretty cool to get eyes like Bato from Ghost in the Shell, where I can like zoom in and zoom out. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or those prosthetic eyes that are like fiery red. That'd be pretty cool. Mr. L, tell that to the kings of old who had 40 wives. Right, S, are we gonna watch Brandon? Brandon. Oh yeah, we'll watch Brandon, but I'm gonna finish this comment first, okay? Mr. L, I want to look at more comments with Badger. Badger not drinking. Yay. Fuck alcohol. Well, I love alcohol, but you know, I'm doing the Spartan Challenge. All right, so where was I? Forced to serve in a carer profession. So this has been disproven multiple times. This stupid fucking idea here. You see this shit? Forced to serve in a carer profession. Forced? Okay, when they did all the data and statistics over the last 40 plus years, and they were looking into what happens when you make everything egalitarian, guess what happened? Women chose the human, the stuff that had to do with people, right? Like medical care, right? Of all types. They went into like counseling and all that kind of shit. They went into this, what used to be called the soft professions. And they did not choose to do anything else. Very rarely did they choose to do anything else. So when you give men and women a choice, men are going to do more things that have to do with building shit, creating shit, inventing shit, technology, stuff that doesn't have to do too much with people at all. Versus women who do a lot more jobs they pick themselves that have to do with people, right? So as societies became more egalitarian, the differences between men and women became larger and more pronounced. This has been debunked so many times by everyone. But, oh yeah, by the way, the voice chat is open, just to let y'all know. Also, if the U.S. were somehow invaded, I think you'd probably find a lot of women would want to take the fight to the enemy to protect their loved ones. She's talking about the exceptional few women. Exceptional few. Most women, the ones you see on social media, TikTok, and in the stores all the time and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, okay? So I get this all the time. And this is like with women I know casually. They're not in my roster. But women I know casually that I talk to sometimes because sometimes I'll work with them or I'll help them out with something. I talk to them and they're like, well, like I myself am this way. And I'm like, okay, that still makes you an exception. And I'll lay out the SWIFT for them. I'm like, look, do they do this, that, and the other thing? I do go down the whole list. Next thing you know, they find out they're an exception to the general rule across the board, right? This is talking about an exceptional few women. Exceptional few, especially in the West. Exceptional few. So, yeah, like the ones you see on TikTok and, freaking Instagram and all that kind of stuff. All the women who say it's okay for them to have messed themselves up so badly, they are the majority. They are. You, because you think differently from them and you don't ascribe to the same things, that makes you exceptional to them. But they have a hard time understanding this and realizing it at all. The sad fact of the matter is you are an exception. You're not the rule. Mr. L, alcohol tastes terrible to me. Ryan S, moonshine's great. Yeah, I love moonshine. I like that cherry cobbler moonshine. That stuff's good. I'll drink a whole jar. I'll sit next to the fire, drink a whole jar, pass out with mosquitoes around me. Like, I love moonshine. Haze Flam, I'm still waiting for my sandwich. You ordered some food? Like you ordered takeout? Okay. Hopefully it's good, like Subway or something. Renee Desfrazu. Renee, I'll just say Renee. I suck when it comes to French names. Hi, hey all on women. Hi, but it's A. Okay. Renee, I don't know what you were trying to say. I don't know what you were trying to say. But I'll say, comment le votre chat? That's what I'll ask. let's see if they're actually French, or if someone looks that up. Mr. L, sandwich. Mr. L, I can make sandwiches and other stuff. Well, that's good. It means you can survive by yourself, living by yourself. Glenn Mayton, hi, what's up, Glenn? Brian S, I can make a mean toasted cheese. Mr. L, grilled cheese is so good. Also, pacifists have served in the military. Yes, pacifists have served in the military, but the problem is that you can't have an army of pacifists. And whoever the pacifists are, they can be exceptions to the rule. You can be a pacifist and still save people, right? You can be a pacifist and be a firefighter. You can be a pacifist and be an EMT. You can be a pacifist and be a freaking what's the other one? It's not an EMT. It's what's the other one? I forgot what it's called. You could be a medic, right? You can be something like that. All right. Hell, you could be a desk jockey and be a pacifist. You don't have to be on the front line and be a pacifist. Okay. Women are extremely fierce when it comes to those they care about, and honestly, better to die fighting than to live under the dictates of foreign power. Then why do the vast majority of women vote for authoritarian or dictatorial or totalitarian stuff? Why do they do that? Why do they vote for things that do not end good? Why? Why? Over 55% of the voter block, and it's growing. So yeah, I'm just. And like I said, the vast majority though would not do this. They would not do this. They would run away screaming, and try to find some poor sucker guys to save them. All right. And if I was leading those poor sucker guys and she's like, oh my God, help me. I'm like, okay, here's a gun. What? Here's a gun. Let's go get him. No, you're supposed to do it. Oh, now you want me to say, no, bye. Give me the gun back. Give me the gun back. All right, here's the rest of it. A lot of the reason that women in the West are the way they are is because they have the luxury of being protected by others in terms of going into combat, but also face the patriarchal shit which devalues and dismisses them, especially their significant contributions in history. But you just dismissed contributions in history. Do you not know who Queen Boudica is? Queen Boudica, who fought the Romans, led an army, and she had the possibility of winning. So yeah, like, mierda. Anyway, so you just did this yourself. All right. And okay, patriarchy again, which devalues and dismisses them. No, you do this to yourselves. You do this to yourselves. Men don't do it to you. You do it to yourselves. But that's based upon the fact the vast majority of men still want a traditional family. The large majority of men, okay, still want a family, a nuclear family. Okay, that's what that's based off. It's not patriarchal. All right, this ain't. We live in a gynocentric society. You are a liar. You're just regurgitating what you were fed by feminism. But yeah, devalues and dismisses them. When you make yourself a sexual object, you have devalued yourself. That's on you, no one else. That's on you, not me. I'm not forcing you to be an OnlyFans girl. I'm not forcing you to be showing your butt and your big giant hypermemory on Instagram, right? Seriously, I'm not forcing you to do nothing. You're choosing to do this to yourself, right? Devalues. You devalue yourself when you just give yourself up like it means nothing. Okay? Like it means nothing. All right? And this completely blows minds when I tell them about this, right? And I talk to them like, look, they're like, oh, well, you're a man. Like, explain this to me. You know, I came from a bad breakup and he looked at me this way and that way, whatever. So yeah, and they're like, why is it like this? Like, why are men like this? You're not like this, but why are men like this? And I'm like, well, think about it. Okay? You have given yourself up for nothing. And then they'll ask me to explain. And then, of course, I'll explain. Okay, think about it. Think about it. Think about the very first time you were with a guy. And now think about this last time. What's the difference? They never forgot the first guy they were with. Never forgot him. He is still in their head. And now, the last, 10, 15, 20, 50 guys are all a blur until the very last guy, the most recent one that sticks out, who may or may not be more memorable than the first guy they were with, right? And so I lead them down that hole, and then I'm like, okay, now, what do you think would have been different if you had waited? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, if you had not given yourself up, and then just giving yourself to all these men, would you need to worry about all of it at any point at all? And they're like, I guess not. And I'm like, yeah. But because you've given up the most precious thing that you are gifted, right? Which goes along with their femininity and all this kind of stuff. Now, you will never be able to settle. You'll never be able to find that one guy. You cannot bond to anyone. You've given the most precious parts of you up for so many years. Now it's worth nothing. You devalued yourself, right? And when they finally reach the realization, they take a few extra sips, and they're like, "That's depressing." I'm like, "Yeah, it's very depressing. I would not want my daughter to go through everything you've been through. Hell no. Hell no." But yeah, freaking they do it to themselves, right? Don't treat me like a sexual object. Okay, stop making yourself a sexual object. I mean, that's like painting a big giant sign red and expecting people not to look. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out the only thing you have to offer anymore is that. That's all. That's it. And most of them don't understand this. Thankfully, I hang out with some very intelligent women, and when they get to that point, they're like, "Oh shit." Right? So yeah, like, women need to protect themselves and know their value. but they're encouraged not to, which is really screwed up. Now, dismissing women. I do it all the time. I do it all the time, right? When I'm out in public and I'm taking my son to the park or something, or I go with a few friends to play some pool for a couple hours and then I come back. Clockwork. Clockwork. I dismiss women all the time. I turn down women all the time because I know these women. I know them because I know the women I know right now. And they're exactly like them. All right. I got enough going on, right? But yeah, I turn down women all the time, and I will dismiss them entirely. Entirely, I will dismiss them. All right. I see how they're acting. I see what they're after. I know what they're after. And it's too easy because they're like carbon copies of each other. Okay, imagine like a doll, right? Like a doll, a Barbie doll or something, right? That you could change the clothes of, change the hairstyle. You could put different makeup and stuff on. You can I don't know, change the skin tone or whatever. But they're all the same doll, just different flavors. But yeah, same doll, different clothing, slightly different style, slightly different way of doing hair, or sometimes like, they do like the shave lock or whatever. Same doll, different stuff. That's basically what happened. That's basically what happened. But yeah, like, and that's much different. That's much different than like the girls who choose to do sex work and they accept it because those girls know what the score is, right? So like, I'll give you an example. Like, cam girls, e-girls, porn stars. The reason why you don't see every single one of them coming forward and playing like the victim game, like what was her name? Lana Rhodes or some shit like that. Playing the victim card for something they chose to do. They accept it. They accept it and they know the score. Right? That's quite different. They chose that life. They followed through with that life and they accepted it. They don't pass the blame onto anyone else. Anyway, let's keep going forward. We're going to finish this comment off. The military has been dismissive of women in combat since the inception of many countries. Kind of true. It's the same as the pacifists. Not really, no. Not really, no. They have the luxury of choosing nonviolence because they have others to be violent and face the horrors of extreme violence on their behalf. This is true. This is true. Very true. Culture, right? There's a difference between the IDF and the United States when it comes to culture, right? Culturally, women in the U.S., if the vast majority of them were on the front side of an invasion, they would run away. They would run away. They would leave everything and run away. Also with like a good population of men as well that are not in the military or not National Guard or not police force. Our culture is changing that way as well. Whereas in Israel, their whole country is a front line. So of course the culture is going to be much different. Way different. Then again, like you don't see cam girls in Israel. Israel doesn't have cam girls or porn stars or sex workers or any of that shit. They don't have any of that, but their culture, they seem to be doing pretty damn good compared to us, honestly. Even though their whole country is a war zone. Even like, isn't that crazy? Anyway, but yeah, this is true. This part's true. Had the outlook of women in combat been different, the attitude of Western women might be in some ways be different. This is true as well. She's very true about this as well. This is true. This is a fact. If the outlook of women in combat had been different, the attitude of Western women might be different. Yes, it would be. Severely different. It's not the fault of women, and the patriarchy has blocked them at every turn from having any significant influence. Women literally run the society and culture of civilization. They literally run it. They run this shit. The court system, the legislation, everything. They have the heaviest influence. 80% of consumers are women. They literally run the market. Bub, don't tell me women that do not have power. That's a falsity. That is a falsity. I've known women who were in armed various militaries and have served in a combat role, and they are some of the most driven and badass people I've known of any gender because they haven't had to just fight the enemy. They've had to battle for every scrap of deserved recognition. Okay, exceptions to the rule. False. In the military, women have the majority of power when it comes to almost anything. A female private can literally get a sergeant major relieved. Yeah, if that's not power, I don't know what is. I don't know what is, and I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. Even though later on, like maybe months and months down the road, the papers would pass my desk, which would, declare, oh, he's been exonerated. Turns out it was all false. She falsely accused him so she could get a pass. So now he can have his award. And it's like, he's already out. He's been kicked out. His whole entire life has been crushed because of this female who was just upset she was being told what to do still. And now I'm giving him an award like 8 months later. Make it make sense. Tell me women don't have power. Tell me. But yes, I've met women who are in militaries as well who were absolute badasses. I've told y'all the story. I got my ass whipped by a girl in the Australian military. And I had an Aussie chick, slam my ass into the ground. I did not expect it. So I know. And I've met women in plenty of different militaries. And they're all badasses. Trouble is, they are still exceptions even in their own militaries, right? They don't have the same amount of women versus men like as we try to do here in the U.S. It's a totally different thing. They push themselves harder to be best because they don't have the luxury of men to deal with half-assing their service. That is also false. Very false. Very incredibly false. And I would know. I was in the service. And I've met plenty of women in the Army who were absolute freaking units of females. They did martial arts. They were like all about it. All about it. Freaking beasts. So yeah, but they are still exceptions to the rule. All right, cool. We are done with the comments. So what did y'all think about that? What did y'all think? What do y'all think? Let me know in the chat down below. Okay, so there we go. I'm done with that one. Someone said, I'm looking forward to hearing your dump. Okay. People are hilarious. Okay, so Brandon Herrera, I believe, was the consensus. Is it not? Is it not the consensus? Oh, my back. Damn, that's a revolver shotgun. These things are pretty cool. And I believe one of them was showcased in one of the Call of Duty games. All right, let me read the chat real fast. Renee says, what? Renee says, but is a problem that we men create an Occidental area. by have to arranged her community with the female gone to be like a Amerindian, the chiefs in the house, and by the way, everywhere. I think it's a translation. This looks like a translation issue, is what this looks like. Looks like they're trying to translate what they're saying on what's it called? Is it Duolingo? I think it's Duolingo. They don't get it right most of the time, though. Midnight Storm, the interview with Jordan Peterson had with the wacky blonde lady on the BBC. Oh, you're talking about what's her name? Something Mays, I think was her name. I forget her name. She's so forgettable. She's like every other blonde. Renee says, but in Orient, Asia, and many European. Sorry, bad bilingual, and thanks. Renee, thanks. Hi to you. I have no idea what you're trying to say, but hello, Renee. How you doing? Mr. L, 70,000 Romans and supporters were killed by Queen Boudica. Nice. Yeah, they estimate 70,000, but it could be higher than that. She did a lot of damage to the Roman Empire. A lot of damage. Renee, big harm, protect hard. Big harm to protect, like with the bad boys who ask all the pretty women, do you understand and sorry? Hey, we have the 1978 cloths mode, the wham. I'm trying, okay, big harm to protect, like with the bad boys who had all the pretty women. Oh, okay. Okay. I think what they're trying to say is that they're trying to talk about the dichotomy between men and women in the West. Okay. Mr. O, how the fuck does sex work devalue someone? Fuck you, prick at Badger. Well, of course. I've triggered him. It's happened again. Big fucking deal. They remember their sexual partners. Sex isn't special. You just think it is. It's part of the human experience. Well, like I said earlier, if somebody was listening, it matters to the men who want families, a nuclear family that's solid and sticks together, right? I said this way earlier, so obviously you weren't listening. Damn it. So how does it devalue someone? Well, it devalues someone based off the preferences. Yes, it does. So, okay, for a young man who wants the purely traditional stuff, right? He wants to grow up. He wants to find his love. He wants to grow with her, end up in his career, take their lives somewhere, and she is for him and him alone, and they have kids together and live happily ever after. Vast majority of guys still want that, okay? So from that perspective, a girl who has had so many other men, that devalues her. That's how that works. That's how that works. That's how that goes down. Because in her mind, he's going to be competing with the last 50 dudes. So why is he going to wife up someone who's had like the full realm of sexual experience, but will not be dedicated and devoted to him, right? She's not pair bonded to him. She can't, right? She could be a headache because of that, right? There's always the chance she will leave, right? Because there's no loyalty, duty, commitment. Can't have that if you're competing with a bunch of different of her past experience. You can't have that. It's not possible. Big deal. They remember their sexual partners. It's not a big deal if the type of men and women that were strictly going for each other were players and thoughts, essentially, or fuckboys and thoughts, right? So if a girl wants to just mess around and that's all she wants, then where's the problem? Where's the problem? In the eyes of the dudes who like women, or, who like women that have been around, right? It doesn't matter to them. So why does it matter to you? Right? See where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? Right? Sex isn't special. You just think it is. It's part of the human experience. Sex is special. Okay. So just having sex. No, that's not special. That's just, anyone can just have sex and that's it. Right? Like what I'm doing right now. I'm just having fun. That's it. There's nothing intimate about it. There's no love, right? There's no romance. It's just sex. That's all it is. So, of course, it's not special if it's not with someone special. None of the girls I'm with right now are special to me. Not a single one. None of them are. And I'm pretty sure I'm not special to them. So, yeah, that's how that dynamic takes place, right? They are all thoughts, right? They're prissy, spoiled princesses that just want to get laid, right? And I happen to be the prime one for the job, apparently, as far as I know, at least. So yeah, it's not special to me. It's not special to them. Now, if I'm going to have a wife, right, who is going to, let's say I actually fall in love, right? Let's say I fall in love with this woman. She turns out to be a virgin, or she's had like maybe one guy before and that's it, right? Or maybe three at the very, very most, spread out over however short amount of time, right? Let's say I fall in love with her and she falls in love with me. Now, us having sex just isn't sex anymore. It's intimate. It's romantic. We will want to satisfy each other, right? It's no longer just, fucking. It is making love, as we used to say, right? That right there is special. That is very special. So yeah, depending on who you are, what you're going for, and why, right? And who is looking at whom, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And value, someone else's value is in someone else's eyes. That's what makes the major difference in every single part of that comment you just made. Well, of your chat. But it is funny to see Mr. L triggered. I don't know why, but you just tell, it is funny. It is funny. I enjoy it. Ryan S., I don't really know what's going on in the chat. I know. Renee, I don't know what Renee is trying to do. I think Renee is trying to translate from their native language to English, and they're probably using a translator tool that is absolutely just messing it up. It's not working out. Haze Flame, what about Cyberpunk? I have no idea. Mr. L, for fuck's sake, you are a sex toy to the 8 women you're with right now. Pretty much. So by your own logic, you've devalued yourself. Goddamn bloody fucking dumbass. Actually, I have not. Men and women are not equal. Physically, biologically, psychologically, mentally, we're not equal. All right? A man who can get with a lot of women, who can attract a lot of women, I am looked at as, amazing, incredible, and I am applauded. I'm applauded and I am raised up for it. Right? Women that do that, it's the reverse. Because men and women are not each other. Men look at things a certain way. Women look at things a certain way, right? Otherwise, why is it that the vast majority of Western women go for guys like me? Why is that? Why do I get a roster and a majority of guys in my chat are single? Why does a toxic male like myself, who's an older fellow, by the way, get all these gorgeous bombshells, freaking smoke shows as a roster. The women are the ones selecting. I'm not doing anything. I'm just showing up. The dynamic is different. Multiple women will pick the same dude. But you can't have 20 different dudes picking the same girl. It doesn't work. It does not work. But I'm talking strictly hetero. I think it's called heterosexually. Yeah, heterosexually. Because I can't talk for like gay people, bi people, trans or whatever. I can't talk for any of them, right? I can only talk as to how I am, right? So talking about that binary, I think that's what they call it, cis whatever. Think about it. We're not equal, right? Each one looks at the other differently and wants different things. So yeah, like a toxic male such as myself gets a roster of gorgeous women, right? Whereas most of the guys in my chat are single. That should tell you everything you need to know about that. But yeah, it also depends on who's looking at what. For the most part. Mr. L, Badger has triggered me. I know, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I have fun with this. Still love Mr. L. Ryan S. Now, what was I talking about? I could tell that something. Mr. L, what are you talking about? Ryan is talking about Renee. Mr. L, well, no shit, Badger. That's because they're at war constantly. Damn, it's not that hard to understand. Damn, you're stupid. Well, some people actually need it spelled out for them. Haze Flame, referring to you as a snowflake. I haven't called Mr. L a snowflake. I have not done so. Ryan was talking about Renee. Ryan S. couldn't. Mr. L. didn't know what she was talking about. Yeah, none of us know. None of us know. Mr. L. No one better call me Snowflake. Just come to my place, and you'll be met with a shotgun. I'll put you in a box, motherfuckers. Mr. L, please don't make death threats live on the internet. Por favor. Por favor. Don't do that. You could get our chat destroyed. Renee, I'm tired of this discussion. Let's talk about the two things who are heavily important and oops, Kim wit woman to ecology mode. Way to live violence. Okay, good night. Sorry, bad English. It's fine, Renee. It's fine. Mr. L, oh gosh, you finally read the chat. Jeez, read the chat more often. Ryan S, damn, it was a joke, Mr. L. If that really offended you that bad, you need to get some help and farther more if you go to someone's house. Bring the 57. Mr. L, oh no, Google Translate. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Not an oven inspector. I love your freaking picture, dude. That's awesome. That's freaking... Not an oven inspector. Guten Abend. I freaking love my chat, dude. Like, I get the wackiest people in here ever, and it's just a freaking freak show. I love it. Mr. L, snowflakes are nice. Just make sure you don't eat them. You can get diseases and shit. Mr. L, oh no, I'm just fucking with you. Ryan S, I'm fucking with you too. Ryan S, last part's true. Mr. L, 357 is pretty good. Not enough inspected. How is everyone? We're all good. We're just, doing our... I'm doing my toxic masculinity thing. And everybody else in the chat's just going crazy. So there's that. It's a good time. It's a good time. Ryan, got a few shotguns, some other stuff. Love my 357 side gate. Henry, good for some range and for an OSHET. Okay. Not an oven inspector. That's good because I'm definitely not an oven inspector and I won't come over and inspect it. So God by spelling's awful tonight. Chill with cat. Chill with cat? Okay. Mr. L, got some ARs and other stuff, and an M1 Garand. Ryan S, M1 Carbine, few Model 12s, 37s, 97s, and A5s. Ryan, regular stuff. Mr. L, M1 Garand. Gun shows for Ryan. Renee, we are better than U.S. and Canada because we have more lie and nothing except the United States to protect our Alps. Canada is like a woman. Ouch. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. Ryan collection, oven inspector. Google Translate's pretty awful, especially when it comes to English and Russian. Couldn't use Google Translate. Mr. L, why do you think that a gun from over 100 years ago is still pretty good? Indeed. Mr. L, Badger, you just described a double standard. Congratulations. A double standard only applies to the first, right? So women have a double standard. It's okay for women to be promiscuous, but when men are promiscuous, feminist women are angry about it, but they still come to see promiscuous guys. So yeah, make that make sense. Make that make sense, right? Oven inspector. I don't get women because I'm gay. Does that count? Well, if you're gay, then you're not included in this, because what I'm talking about directly is the binary between male and female heterosexually. I think I described that right. Mr. L, you have a kindred spirit in the chat. Ghost, I agree with you. It is for devaluing for him, both for men and for women. It does have less of an impact for men, though, and is especially harmful for women. Very much especially harmful. So physically, I talk about physically, right? Physically, men can sleep with however many women we want. It will still be special with the special someone. We are biologically built that way. For women, it's different. Women do what's called pair bonding, right? However, when women sleep around with a bunch of guys, they lose that ability. Their biology is forever altered and affected by that specifically. And that's why they rarely ever, like the exception of the exception is who gets married. If they're thoughts or whatever, they're always bouncing around men, and they always quite often they end up alone getting cats or dogs or something. Or they become single mothers that bounce around between dozens of different men and teach their daughters to do the same. Like it's a recurring, it's much more detrimental for women than it is for men. Way more. Ryan S. Browning was a madman. Yes, he was. Oven inspector. The bar is my favorite gun. Perfect balance between weight, mobility, ammo, and fire rate. Mr. L, the bar is awesome. There's a modern bar I've gotten to use, and it's pretty sweet. It's pretty freaking sweet. Inspector. Thanks, Badger. I love the Cheems profile pic as well. Keems? Cheems? Keems? Is that Cheems or Keems? I don't know what you're talking about. But, yes. Mr. L, suppose you get a 45. Ryan S, now I'm going to go with the Russians on this one. Say 30. Not Oven Inspector. Only good guns Russia produced. Okay, so what were we going to do after we hashed all that stuff out? Because now we're like an hour and 11 into it. We haven't watched a single video. We've just been talking in the chat the whole time. Oh, shit. Oven Inspector. Cheems. Not pronounced Keems. Okay, Cheems. What's Cheems? I don't know what Cheems is. Okay, so, ooh, I like these ones. This guy, he releases some good stuff. I'm going to open that in a new tab. I want to watch it at some point. Someone says Brandon Herrera. What else? Oven Inspector. It's a Shiba Inu dog like Doge that people have turned into a meme. Cheems? Nice Cheems. What are you talking about? Cheems where? Where is there a Cheems? I don't see a Cheems anywhere. Is there a ghost Cheems behind me or something? Yeah, I haven't seen one, but all right. Ghost, welcome to the live stream. It is interesting to me, Badger, that you harp on the lack of fathers and the impacts of single-parent households on both men and women, but are more than happy to reap the rewards of the destruction. Indeed. Well, it's not interesting. I'm purposely doing that. Right? I am taking advantage of what has been given to me. Right? Um, so yeah, but here's the thing: is that here's how this could turn out good. Is that I do get a lot of young men who do listen to me, right? They do listen to me, and I tell them all the time, and I tell y'all about this too. I say, look, um, and I think I've said this multiple times. Yeah, I've said this multiple times. A smart man learns from his own mistakes, right? A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And a fool does not understand the difference. So yeah, people can learn from my experience. Easily so. People can learn from my experience and choose to be better than I am. I don't pretend to be a paragon of virtue, or, I don't pretend like I'm a perfect guy. I've never done that at all. I'm not an angel. I'm not an angel. I'm not a hero. I'm not some exemplar of chivalry and righteousness. Never pretended to be so. And harp is kind of harsh, because to harp on something, it's a bit different than what I do. But it doesn't make what I say any less true, and it doesn't make what I tell young men they should be doing any less good. See how that works? So yeah, like, just saying. Mr. L, I'll take an M60 over a Maxim. Ryan was talking about a M60 like a Maxim machine gun video with Brandon Herrera. Oven Inspector, what are your thoughts on Britain sending Challenger tanks to Ukraine? Do you think Germany and America should send Leopards and Abrams to Ukraine? I would send older equipment to Ukraine, because it would still be leagues advanced over everything else. Leagues advanced over it. Leagues advanced. So we could send them like first generation, Abrams, first generation Strikers and MGSs and all that kind of stuff. Abrams tanks, we could send first generation Abrams tanks. We got plenty of those still in our reserves. Heck, we could send them all of our like training equipment, and that would push the needle over the edge, like far, really far. We got some crazy stuff that we could do with our vehicles that the Russians could only dream of. Ghost, so you're a politician? No, I couldn't be a politician. I'm not good at lying. I'm really not. Politicians are just really good liars. Me? Nah, I couldn't be one. I could not be one. I'd get wrecked. I would get wrecked. If I entered politics, I would get wrecked. Like terribly wrecked. Because I would be the penultimate target of basically everyone, like Andrew Tate is right now. like Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, all those guys. But yeah, Mr. L, the Russians' armor is pretty terrible. Yes, it is. Ryan S, my dad was a squad gunner in the squad when he was in Germany in the 80s. No combat, obviously, but there was war games and training. Seeing him with that M60 is amazing. He loved that old pig. The M60 was pretty good, but the M60 E4, bub. Mr. L, we should send troops, cough, cough, to 30 million vets. Well, there is a Ukrainian Foreign Legion that's growing by like 1,000 people per month or something like that, and it's only getting bigger. Not enough of an inspector. America is sending HIMARS and Bradleys to Ukraine, but I do agree. I think we should send older models of Leopards and Abrams. With the horrible performance of Russian tanks, I think they would be a match. Actually, they would surpass the Russian armor. Like the Ukrainian military was beating Russian tanks with Russian tanks, and their own personalized versions of like armored vehicles that they made that are homegrown. And their infantry fighting vehicles that they have were doing a damn good job as well. The Ukrainians were doing a lot better with what they had than the Russian troops were with having the same stuff. The Ukrainians were crushing the Russians before we started sending them all this support. But yeah, once Bradleys get over there, bub. Bradleys can take on tanks at a very good distance. And then that 20 millimeter cannon, bub. But yeah, but if we send them like super advanced stuff, like stuff we've had since like the 90s, if we send them stuff like that, or actually a lot of our stuff is still from the 80s too. So if we send them stuff from that mixture, like first generation shit, Russia's going to lose overnight. Like, they're going to get crushed real fast. Any schmoo. So someone requested Brandon Herrera. Somebody requested Brandon Herrera. I don't have any members here tonight. Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera, Maxim gun. Sure. Y'all down for this?
When you think about...
All right, so this is Brandon Herrera, the machine gun that changed the world. All right, let me add it to the live stream. I have to add it to the live stream. Go to studio. Studio. Ons en Latern. Naglid lemlost. Wait, what is going on here? Go back a little bit. See this? They do this sneaky stuff to me all the time. Turn that shit back on, you bastards. All right. I got to add this to the live stream. It was doing this stuffies again. All right. All right. So, put that down there, then put the link. Come in mein Boot. There we go. Okay, so according to the live stream, there's only 2 of you here. Usually when it says one number, it actually means another. You see what YouTube does to me? The bastards. Any schmoozo, y'all ready for this? All right, let's do it.
Iconic historic belt feds, you might think of things like the MG42, the PKM, or even the M2 Browning 50 cal.
Oh, no. No. He's playing copyright material. He's playing copyright material as his background music. So I can't watch this. I can't watch it. It'll demonetize the freaking live stream. Because YouTube will do a DMCA on this. Damn it! Damn it! Freaking YouTube and their fickleness. Oh, wait, is it Creative Commons? Damn, it doesn't say Creative Commons, though. Whatever. Let's watch it and see what happens, I guess. Let's go. Let's go.
But one machine gun that gets often overlooked is one that changed firearms and warfare forever. I'm talking, of course, about the Maxim water-cooled machine gun.
Okay, so maybe it'll be fine because it's a mix-up, apparently. That's what it said at the bottom, so we'll see.
So what exactly is it? So this is a Finnish-made, water-cooled 1910 snow-cap Maxim machine gun. This particular variant is chambered in 7.62 by 54R, the same caliber that the Mosin shoots, and in fact, the belts can be interchangeable between this and the PKM. Now, this gun was made in 1942, but the Maxim itself was designed in the 1880s. Yeah, that's right. Less than 20 years after we fought a war using muskets, we had a relatively modern...
Actually, there was a multi-barreled thing, and then there was a hand-crank Gatling gun before the Maxim machine gun even existed. So the Maxim machine gun was not the actual first machine gun, I don't think. Technically not. But yeah, dudes, this big part of the barrel is freaking a water tank. Directly on the barrel is a water tank. I just always thought that was funny.
Belt-fed machine gun that's still in service today. But before we get too crazy into the history, got a loaded belt.
And you had to be careful. You had to be careful using it, because if you let your knuckles go too far forward, this thing would smash, like completely liquefy your knuckle. Like, the freaking... the charging handle could liquefy a knuckle. And he's doing this in sandals. He's doing this in sandals, y'all. Freaking sandals. Look at this. He's doing it in sandals.
Oh man, history fucks. POV, your tribe has natural resources. So my friends, this right here is the Maxim machine gun, one of the oldest machine guns ever built. In fact, probably the oldest if you're talking about what we consider to be like a modern belt-fed machine gun. When you see guns like this, you probably think of like World War I and maybe some fucked up shit in Africa. But what's mind-blowing about this gun, this design, is that it is so fucking old. The Maxim machine gun was first designed in 1884. That was 30 years before World War I even began. For context, most of the world was still using single-shot rifles at that point, and here a Maxim comes along and said, hey guys, I got an idea. Now, a lot of people think that the Mosin Nagant is the oldest weapon that is still kind of seeing service today, which is understandable. I mean, this thing was designed in 1891. So it is mind-blowing to me that this belt-fed machine gun came out 7 years before this bolt-action rifle. So when I say that this gun was ahead of its time, this gun was ahead of its fucking time. I mean, this shit is...
Not enough inspector. Auf Wiedersehen. All right. Guten Morgen? Is it morning for you or nighttime? Elven inspector. I'll just say Gute Nacht.
is what happens when you max out your RPG stats on science and you accidentally get better at killing. So I'm gonna show you how to operate this, because you never know, it might be a neat party trick one day. But let me just start by saying that this design is genius, and that's because the designer, Herrera Maxim, was a fucking genius. Not just a gun guy either, the guy designed all sorts of shit. He was
Not enough inspector. Good Nacht. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because nicht means nothing. Yeah, nicht means nothing. Gute Nacht.
fighting Edison on patents to the light bulb. He invented things like an early version of the inhaler. Hell, he even had his own design for a helicopter. So when I say this guy was a bona fide mad lad, I'm not exaggerating. Get Dankula on the phone, because this was a fucking mad lad. Also, another fun fact, his son later invented the silencer.
Oven inspector. I'm very impressed you actually pronounced the German V right. So many people don't, and it infuriates me. Yeah. It took me a while to break the habit of just pronouncing other languages as I would English. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Ship off the old block. So first off, it's water cooled. What does that mean? Well, instead of using air to cool the barrels like most modern machine guns, or using swappable barrels so you can just change the barrel out and keep firing, the Maxim opted to cool it with water. So you got this little cap here, comes off, and then we have our reservoir that holds water around this shroud, around the barrel. So if you're planning on running this gun a lot, sometimes they'd have an external reservoir that this leads to, and basically it just acts as a radiator to keep cycling out the hot water from the shroud and bringing in the cool water to keep the barrel cool. Now backing up, we've got our belt fed assembly here, our belt feed assembly. So this right here feeds in from the right side and the belt comes out the left. Now you might notice there's not enough space here for a cartridge or a casing to come out the left side. What the hell's up with that? Well, it's very cool, and I'm glad you asked. You're very astute. If your father was still around, I'm sure he'd be proud of you. That's because this machine gun does not eject from the side. You see, the Maxim machine gun actually ejects through the bottom of the gun out this little hole here. And if that looks like it shouldn't work and would jam the gun like crazy, congratulations, that's exactly what I thought, but it fucking works. So this carriage assembly is not original to this gun, but it is original. As far as sights, we have our rear sight here that can flip down like that, be nice and slick. Flip that back up, and it also has this slider, just like an AK might have. I say AK, really any, sight aperture at the time. Also goes all the way up to 2,000 meters, which is slightly optimistic, but when you're talking about high volume of fire, accuracy through volume counts. Just look at all the fucking cosmoline in this carriage assembly. It's, yeah, this thing was in storage for a good minute. So now to rack the gun, you've got this lever here, which you actually have to rack twice. So you have to pull the belt through. If you noticed how I was loading it earlier, you pull the belt in, you rack it once, and that starts one round going. Now if you rack the gun again, you can pull the belt farther through while you're racking it, and now you have the next round where it needs to be for this gun to operate flawlessly. So now when it's time to pull.
It's called Ghost Round. So Ghost Round, there's quite a few weapon systems that still use that system today. So like the Mark 19. The Mark 19, you still have to cycle ghost rounds, essentially, is what they call it. But you are placing a round next so that it could start the cycle of fire. The same thing with the old school 50 cals, the Brownings, the M2s, the Mod Deuce. You would have to go to make sure that you had cycled a round in and a round behind it, so it could start cycling. And that was back when you had to do like headspace and timing and all that kind of stuff. The modern 50 cals, you just slam the belt in, rack it once, and it's ready to go.
Pull the trigger. We've got our very familiar machine gun spade grips here, not racial. This is our trigger. We push this forward. There's a little safety mechanism here that blocks it. So you just push this up and you are ready to fire. And as long as you hold this down, this gun is going to keep working. This is a machine. It's a machine gun, if you will. Plus, this is just super satisfying. Normies might jerk off to Maxim magazine cover models. My subscribers jerk off to Maxim machine guns. We're not the same. All right, guys, we're here in the trenches. We just heard the White Claws blow the whistle. They're gone over the top. Time to test out the area denial capabilities of this Maxim machine gun. Alrighty, sending these White Claws home with a folded flag in 3, 2, 1.
You missed
I
one.
think that did it. All right, so we've cleared the gun. Let's go check out the damage. Unsurprisingly, 7.62 at 54R passes the White Claw penetration test. Thought this little guy survived, but nope, she's
Oh, no,
done.
he's leaking.
Got dead claw, dead claw, dead claw, dead claw, dead claw, not to be confused with a death claw. How's this one? Oh, no. We got 1 survivor, 2 survivors. Fuck. We don't do survivors here. War crimes and other radical parts of history. So
Straight up. Straight up. Survivors, we don't do that around here. We don't do that around here. Hell no.
I'm going to show you how this gun actually functions. Just the basics, like I'm training a new recruit in World War I, which was the coolest war man ever fought, at least until the sequel. All warfare is based. Sun Tzu. And now, because I'm a gentleman, before we get all up in them guts, time to take her top off.
Oh, shit. Oh, damn. World War I was the greatest war we ever fought until the sequel. War is based. Sun Tzu. Like, oh, damn. Freaking savage, dude. Freaking savage. And now before I get up in her guts, because I'm a gentleman, time to take her top off. Straight up facts, my dude. Straight up facts. Based Brandon Herrera. Let's go.
This top cover here. So we lift this up here. It's got a little lever in the back that is spring loaded, as you can see there. That's what locks the gun. And now look at this. This fine Swiss clock machine. Now, if this doesn't excite your inner gun nerd, you need to take a minute and check your fucking pulse, because it should. Gun design shit like this is so fucking interesting to me, especially old pieces like this. Just getting into the weeds of how shit works. And if that interests you as well and you'd like to get your start into gunsmithing, I would recommend checking out SDI. Great sponsor of the channel and a great way to get your start in the gunsmithing, gun building field. I like throwing them in as a sponsor on videos like this in particular because you got cool elements of gun design. I know that attracts those of you who are interested in stuff like this. So I'll leave the links down in the description in the pinned comment if you want to check them out. Thank you to SDI for sponsoring the video and allowing us to have cool shit like this. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's no gas system. There's no pistons or gas tubes or anything that uses the gas to, operate the gun like you have on most modern firearms, like the AK, the AR, etc. That's because this is recoil operated. You see, the entire purpose of this gun was Sir Herrera Maxim was trying to figure out a way to use the recoil force of the gun to be able to make the gun load itself. And I think he did a pretty good fucking job. You gotta love where America's priorities were at. We figured out automatic weaponry about 20 years before the Wright brothers flew their first plane. So by recoil op, I mean short recoil, meaning the barrel reciprocates a little bit within the gun in this shroud and hits a lever that pushes the bolt open a little bit.
So for a lot of people that don't know, gas operated, you'll have a gas tube, right? That's where like the gas that's released from the propellant of a round being fired is fed through a tube, right? From the barrel back to the action, and it forces the bolt back to the open position. It'll extract the brass. It'll extract the brass, throw the brass out of the way, right? And then it will hit the back of another round and load it back in. And that's how gas-operated weapons work. Recoil operation is usually with the barrel. So basically, like the barrel is designed to move. And when the barrel moves, it pushes the action back. Or it presses, or it's part of a system that's reciprocating to the barrel that will push it back and load the next round and keep doing that. So yeah, pretty much. Mr. L, leave none alive. Indeed, the sequel was better. It's always nice when the top is off. Yes. What do you think of machine pistols? Some are good, some are bad. I definitely understand why water-cooled guns aren't used much anymore. Yeah, they're not used much because there's not a lot of portable utility to them. They're not very portable. Unlike a 50 cal where you could just pick it up from anywhere and set up it almost anywhere if you have enough manpower, or a 240 which is air-cooled as well and gas-operated weapon. Yeah, freaking unlike all of them, which are much more portable, much more utilitarian, the Maxim machine gun was designed for, like, you know, being fixed to one spot. It wasn't meant to be just thrown around everywhere. Especially, like, what happens if you're in a place where you can't spare the water?
Allows for the gun to be able to cycle and then load a new round. And then, of course, fire that round, cycle, load new round, rinse and repeat until you have all the oil, gold, or diamonds that you desire.
You fucking colonizer!
Now, what's really cool about the action, too, there's a lot of really cool things, but this is neat. There's a little elbow joint in here. I don't know if you can see that. When the gun functions, that toggle goes down like that, making this almost like an upside-down Luger. So I pull this back. It allows the bolt to come up and out of the gun. I can twist that out, and voila, you have this absolute Swiss clock of a bolt assembly. Just goes to show you how much we really don't appreciate how simple modern firearms are. After all, the hardest part of designing a machine is not doing something, it's doing something simply. All right, so now that we have the bolt out, we have an unobstructed view of the chamber. So what you'll notice is that this is where the belt comes in. This is where the new rounds are fetched by the bolt, and they are put down into here, into the chamber. That's where they fire. Now, once the gun cycles, the round that was just stripped from the belt and is currently in the top space of the bolt, which is right up here, is then moved down into the chamber and now rests on this space here, which has the hole for the firing pin to protrude. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. That looks like a live round there below the chamber. Not to worry, that is not a live round. That is a fired round. That is just a casing that is stuck in the ejection tube. Basically, it just lives there now until the next fired round, the casing pushes it through the ejection chute, and then it comes out the front of the gun. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna fit this in here, move this back, and now the gun is back in the track that
That is a beautiful action, though. That's a very pretty action. I like it. I like it. I like the action for this better than the saw. The saw was just a piece of shit. The freaking 249, the 5.56 249 saw, piece of shit. One of the worst freaking weapons ever. I hated the saw. Give me that Mark 48 or the 7.62 saw is basically what it is. You know, or give me a 240 Lima. I'll take one of those over a saw any day of the week.
makes it do gun things. Yeah, that is Maxim 101. Those are the basics of the design. It is a unbelievably ahead of its time design for 1884, but it's just a great, solid machine gun design in general. There's a reason why pretty much every military adopted them in one way or the other, and basically every country involved in World War I had their own Maxim derivative. Hell, these things are still seeing limited combat to this day.
Now, as I was saying, the Maxim.
So the only thing about like air-cooled weapon systems is that you have to swap out those barrels. You have to swap out the barrels. There's been quite a few times where we got into a tick, or, you know, our cob got attacked, or OP got attacked, or we got ambushed, and you would literally see like my 240 or my 48 would be cooking off rounds because the barrel was so hot, because I was firing so much ammo and engaging so many targets. The barrel was so hot It was cooking off rounds as soon as they were in there, and I had runaway guns back to back to back. And we didn't even bother to swap out the barrel until we had no freaking choice, right? A couple of times I've actually warped and damn near melted barrels. So air-cooled weapon systems, once you've put like 1,000 rounds through it in like 15, 20 minutes. I mean, hell, at nighttime, you can see how hot the barrel is because it will be a slight shade of red up and down the barrel. It'll be so hot that we had special gloves that we would have in our barrel bags to just grab the handle, which is like 4 inches, 5 inches away from the barrel. There's a barrel like handle, and we would use that to take off the barrel. Sometimes we couldn't even get the barrel off because it was so hot and so expanded that it was stuck. So we'd have to like freaking yank on that barrel to get it off the weapon and then chuck it to the side, like in the dirt somewhere, let it cool off, and then putting on the next barrel and then continuing fire. But then by the time we did that, the other gun team's gun either jammed or was having a runaway gun, and they had to rip off the links so that the runaway gun could finish. And then everybody else had to pick up their rate of fire because we had to swap out their barrel too. And their barrel was also stuck. And we had to like jimmy that shit off. Finally, we get the barrel swapped. But then the other gun has gone red now. So yeah, that's the only major problem with air-cooled weapons. That's the only major problem. Mr. L, simple is pretty much always good. Kind of strange that the casing just hangs out there. Well, that's part of the gun's design. What do you think of the XM250 light machine gun? I have yet to do anything with that. I've yet to do anything with it. I haven't experienced it myself. I haven't ran it myself. So I don't know. Mr. L, red metal is very hot. Definitely wear PPE. Good knob end. I'm back on my laptop. Good to see you again, Oven Inspector. All right, let's go.
Still sees service technically to this day, most notably right now in Ukraine. But just because it's a 140-year-old design doesn't mean you can't bring a little modern technology into the mix. Oh yeah. Maxim Technical. Let's go. Oh, get some. So, boys and girls.
Not an Oven Inspector. Well, have you run the barrels like red hot? Because I've had to do that a few times. And what would happen is that when the barrels get super red, like hot, like you could flash fry meat on that sucker. And some guys actually have done that to their hands wearing like regular gloves. Not a good idea if you're a gunner. But yeah, have you gotten the barrel so hot that you could not swap the barrel out? You had to wait for it to, you had to like really like mess with it to get the barrel off because it was almost stuck. You ever had to do that with the MG3 or MG42? Because I've had to do that with 240s, 240s, Mark 48s, saws, yeah, with those ones.
Girls, let's face it, boys, that is the Maxim machine gun. I hope you guys are enjoying this much cooler version of history class, and if there's other machine guns that you'd like to see in the future, let me know down in the comments. And of course, subscribe, otherwise, you might miss it. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers.
There we go, folks. Brandon Herrera, the Maxim machine gun. The machine gun that changed the world. Actually, I think the Gatling gun was first. I'm very certain the Gatling gun was first. And then somebody trying to tell me empath stuff. Any schmoozle. Mr. L, gun cooking meat. Who needs a grill, right? Not an oven inspector. I've heard of German forces on D-Day who replaced their barrels and threw them to the side, and they were so hot they started grass fires. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would not doubt it. They were firing them things so much. Okay, so who wants to watch some scary videos? Who's down for some scary videos, huh? I am, and I feel like scary videos would be a good way to finish this off. So, this is Bizarre Bub. Hot damn, he exploded, dude. All right, so let's jump into this one. I like Bizarre Bub. Scary Comp 42. All right, let's check it out.
Who's patrolling a school late at night when something downright terrifying is caught on camera. John McPrince, who suggested the video, writes, "The video is located in the Philippines and takes place at a school that is rumored to have been a cemetery before. A security guard for the school hears strange noises coming from inside a classroom and sees this. This is what he caught."
So check natin yung nakabahan ko guys. So yun guys, narinig mo yun? Check natin guys kung ano yung grabe yung balahibo ko guys. Check natin. So ayan yung pintuan na akong malabog. So check natin guys. Yun, narinig ko ngayon guys na naka-on yung ano, yan. Yun guys, so yung kita niyo yung mga bangko guys. Yan, walang tao dyan guys ha. Tapos yung electric fan sa itaas. Yan o. Parang may kakaiba talaga dito guys. Yan, kita nyo. Guys, oh. Yan guys. Ito nyo. Yan guys, oh. Kita nyo. So, grabe yung so, kailangan natin i-off yung ano. Grabe, nakakatakot dito guys, sobra. So check natin, pasukin natin guys para kita nyo yung send guys. Guys. Woo! Lord. Guys. So ito yung trabaho ko guys. Grabe. Sobrang nakakatakot guys. Grabe yung tindig ng balahibo ko. Sobra. So, yun. So yan. Kita nyo naman guys yung yun guys. So.
Huh. Huh. I'm not sure what to make of that. What do y'all make of that? That's pretty freaking crazy. You can obviously see there's no one inside the room. There is, like, he's not pulling nothing. He's got a phone in one hand and he's got a flashlight in the other. He's not pulling any strings. and as soon as he opened the door, all the chairs were went towards the door at him. That's pretty freaking crazy. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I think that someone doesn't want him in the room. I think something doesn't want him in there. That's pretty freaking nuts, dude. That's pretty crazy. That's so crazy.
Yan. Yan. So yan guys. Yan. So try natin i-off yung ano. Kasi naka-on yan. Yan. Naka-on yan. So try natin i-off natin yan. Grabe. Ano. So. Yan guys, oh. Kita nyo. Yun ang ano. Dito ka natin na, oh. So, dito. Ito pala. Yung switch guys. Yan, wala na. So, yan. Tingnan nyo. Grabe. Labas na guys. Kasi hindi ko kaya yung takot dito. Oh. Yan lang guys. Yan guys, kita kids.
All of a sudden, the chairs inside the classroom begin to move on their own. But what's even more creepy about this is that they all seem to be moving towards the security guard's direction. Now, it could be that someone was hiding inside and pushing the chairs collectively. But a closer look at this scene shows that nobody could have been inside, as the security guard shows the entirety of the room, where not a single spot is seen where the supposed person could have hid after the guard had entered the class. If anyone were inside, we would have seen them on camera. However, no one is spotted. Like the door at the start of the video, this last part remains unexplainable to most viewers. But as always, what are your thoughts on this? Is this footage of something paranormal, or is it something else?
It's pretty freaking crazy, honestly. It's really crazy. Freaking crazy. With that camera footage quality, no, not possible. Not possible. They wouldn't be able to CGI that. It's pretty easy to tell CGI from reality. Especially since CGI looks better than reality.
Out of all kinds of paranormal activity, those involving dolls are probably the creepiest, and this next video is no exception. YouTuber Zombie66 uploaded the following video and writes, "This was a video of cup stacking. I am very worried and cannot figure out how this happened. I have since placed the doll away in an old barn I have. This is the footage that was caught. Be sure to pay close attention to the background for this one."
Is it this one or this one?
What was supposed to be a video of someone showing off their cup stacking skills turned out to be footage of something terrifying. A doll is caught on camera moving on its own, and it seems that no one had noticed until watching the footage later. Needless to say, they were left disturbed after seeing this.
What?
Now, this is the only video on the channel where something paranormal happens, which makes it more believable, as someone else who fakes such videos would upload more of this content for views. Whether or not the footage is real is up for debate. But if there's one thing most viewers agree on, it's that placing the doll in the barn was a good idea, as it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, how do you fake that? How do you fake that? I can't think of any way to make that happen. And if it was strings, like, that looks like one of them dolls that's like made of just freaking like stuffing and cloth. That looks like one of those dolls, and it has like the plastic head. So even if someone had a string attached to it, they'd have to wrap it around the neck, but then the head would be sagging backwards when they pull the doll up. Like, bub. That's pretty freaky. That's pretty freaky. Glenn Mayton, kill it with fire. Right? Kill it with fire. Oven inspector. Anyone who buys a creepy doll and does not see a problem with it have mental problems. Right? Ryan S. All right, y'all. Good night. Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht, Ryan. But yeah, Glenn Mayton. Kill it with fire. Indeed.
Sorry. Laura Honiken posted the following video after capturing footage of something creepy on her baby monitor. Her daughter is resting in her crib when Laura all of a sudden gets a bad feeling. She promptly runs to her daughter's room and sees that she's okay. But little does she know that something was captured on her baby monitor before she had entered the room. It's worth mentioning that no one was upstairs at the time of this recording. Laura writes, "I'm terrified."
Mr. L, it's the Philippines, so school shootings are basically non-existent. It's only happened once. Is that true? Is that true? I've only been to the Philippines like twice, and only for like, a week and a half, couple of weeks. So I don't know. But the last time I was there, they were basically doing like a full-scale fight against Islamic extremists in the country. But honestly, in countries that have a better cultural stability and foundation, it seems like in countries like that we don't have that they don't have the same problems we do. That's what it seems like. Or, as I would call it, superior culture. Anyway, let's go. But yeah, I don't know if there are mass shootings from in the Philippines or not.
This is what was caught.
Was this 28-7 Kentucky threatening to go up even more, and he's well aware of the outside noise, the rumors, the rumblings, the pressure. He said, listen.
It appears that a pair of legs were caught on camera. Here's a follow-up video Laura had made in response to this creepy footage.
There was legs that were walking, it looked like legs, that were walking out of her room. And her window is locked. There's no other entrance to that room, literally. And you never seen nothing going in. It just was legs going out. You seen me come in, come out, and then you see those legs go out, and then you see me come upstairs to get her and go out.
Laura doesn't know what to make of this. What's strange about this is that whoever or whatever this was appears to have come out of nowhere, as no signs of entry were seen in the daughter's room. It could be that a squatter was hiding in the house, given the fact that most squatters tend to hide in places like the attic. Perhaps that's where they came from. But of course, I'll leave it to you to figure this one out. Was a ghost caught on camera? Or had something else been captured? Rewatch the clip and decide for yourself. If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the...
I think maybe it was a mistaken thing. Like, she's got other family members that are in the house. She probably has a sister or a daughter or something that's moving around, or she's got a family friend that stayed over and then she saw this recording later, maybe. I don't know. It's most likely one of those kinds of things. Mr. L, overall, the Philippines are far less violent than America, but that's due to a lot of factors. It's due to like 3 different factors, actually. It's cultural, societal, and stability foundation of they've got a stable foundation for pretty much everything they got going on, right? So they stick with they basically stick with binary heterosexual normative stuff for the most part. For the most part, that's what they stick to. And that's a huge part of it for them. That's a huge part of it. They enforce like their cultural norms for the most part. And then on top of that, they're very traditional people as far as like their tribal beliefs, their indigenous people's beliefs, and their traditional customs and stuff like that. All of that basically keeps them going pretty good. Or at least from what I hear and see. I got a few buddies who live over there, and what they describe to me is a stark difference to what we have here in the USA. Very, very different. Glenn Mayton. There's a reason why the chairs are going to the door, and it's to keep something out, and that's the only thing I know for sure. Yeah, probably. All right. Good night, Mr. L.
The next compilation, you can send them over to scaryvideos444@gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video. PixelX Vlogs submitted the following photo and writes, I've taken this picture in the Philippines back in 2009 when I started my career as a photographer. I took a picture of my friend to try my new camera, but what I captured is truly shocking and hair-raising and still haunts me to this day. This is the photo he took. A woman is captured in the background and appears to be wearing a gown that might be covered in blood. No further information was given on this picture, but regardless, the picture itself is enough to have anyone look over their shoulder the next time their picture is taken.
Could have just been some crazy woman. Could have been that. Nothing to see here. No evil, scary spirits.
This next video shows someone who's alone at home when something really creepy is caught on camera. Hi Nelson suggested the following video and writes, Mr. Spouter is woken up in the middle of the night by a strange noise. He tries his best to keep his cool, as what's happening in the clip is quite unnerving. Here's the footage that was caught.
Something banging then, something was banging. I'm talking to myself. Something was banging, right, on my stairs. Dusty as I'm being up. Is that a nib as well? Oh.
It appears that Mr. Spouter is just hearing things. But then one night, Mr. Spouter wakes up again in the middle of the night and captures this.
Right, banging again. It's like something on the stairs. You can't hear it though. I can. So every time I look, there's nothing there though. On the stairs, quick. Nothing there.
How did he miss that?
It appears that someone or something was hiding in Mr. Spouter's room. Viewers can't help but think that this may have been a devious entity that was observing Mr. Spouter without him knowing. As with all videos, I leave it to you to decide as to what this might have been.
How does he not notice that? That's my question. How does he not notice that? It's way too convenient. It's way too convenient that there just so happens to be a dark, shadowy figure standing in the other room, perfectly still, not moving or nothing. Perfectly in and out of the door. That's kind of convenient, isn't it? So I'm starting to think this is you know, a hoax. They're faking it. Someone could have been, you know, bent over, hiding behind this top of the staircase and knocking on the wall. We never see him walk around it or go into the other rooms, right? So yeah, I'm starting to think this was all set up.
Entity that was observing Mr. Spouter without him knowing. As with all videos, I leave it to you to decide as to what this might have been. Ghost or not? Feel free to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.
All right, there we go, folks. This is a Bad Bub Scary Compilation Volume 42. Someone commented, they were like, Ghost tries to scare the guard by moving the chairs towards him. Guard, oh no. Anyways, right? Any schmoo. All right, so we have watched a lot of a good amount of stuff. I talked about stuff. I applied my toxic masculinity to a great deal of things. It is now time for me to say goodbye to this weekend. So yeah, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate you. That being said, I'm going to end it here. Be good. Be safe. I will see you this next week in whatever uploads I'm able to manage. I'll also try to get some gaming stuff going for the Twitch channel and the second channel, Badger Actual. So I'll try to get that done. That being said, again, be good. Be safe. Make a life for yourselves. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Good night, everyone. Badger out.